Greetings everyone. So today we are starting with the chapter Dissolution of Partnership Firms. This is a very important chapter of BCom Honors syllabus because you will be having one complete question with internal choice from this chapter. Right? So both the questions, that is the choice question plus the main question, both will be from this chapter. Now let us see the contents of this chapter first. This chapter includes number one, some theory part, that is dissolution of firm, its meaning and legal position, and its difference with the dissolution of partnership. Second is settlement of accounts and what is meant by firm's debts and private debts and how to pay these debts. Then we come to the numerical problems. Your numerical problems are of four types. First type of problem is simple dissolution problems, the ones that you have studied in 12th standard also. Right, so you have studied that the firm is having some assets, it is having liabilities, so you sell off all the assets, you account for sale of building, land, furniture, you have sale of maybe your plant and machinery, you realize money from your debtors, you get your bills collected and all, and then you pay off this money to the liabilities. So this will include special treatment that we need to understand regarding the accumulated profits and reserves and deferred revenue expenses, then dissolution expenses, goodwill, unrecorded assets and liabilities. And to mark one more thing here, we have treatment of joint life policy also, because sometimes students have doubts regarding this. Okay. And second type of problem is accounting for insolvency of the partners. So what if a partner has become insolvent? Will it affect our accounting of the dissolution of the firm or not? And if it does affect, right, then how will it be accounted? Then third type of problem is when the whole firm, that is all the partners of the firm, have become insolvent. So how to account for the same, and what will be its effect on the closing of the accounts and on the disposal of assets and payment of liabilities. Finally, fourth is working for piecemeal distribution. This is in fact the real way in which a dissolution actually works. When you look at the real scenario when the firm is dissolving, then actually the working takes place in this form, piecemeal distribution, that is distribution of the money as and when you get it. Like if you know that a firm is being dissolved, suppose it decides for dissolution say on 1st April 2019. Now we prepare all the accounts, we are given all the information, but do you think that all the information is there on this date? If you want to sell off your land and building, you want to realize fair money of your plant and machinery, you want to collect money from your debtors, it is likely to take some time. So in reality the whole process may take you maybe 6 months. Now for the 6 months you are selling your assets one by one, you are collecting money. Now do you think that at that time your creditors, your lenders, your banker who has given you loan, will they be keeping silent and they'll be waiting for 6 months that you realize the money that you will pay? No, they will ask you immediately, give us money, give us money. Lender comes first. So in reality what happens is, as and when you get some money, maybe you sold a part of land, you realized money, you are to use that money to pay off the liabilities. So how does the liability is being paid? In pieces. So which liability will be paid first? You might be having bank loan of 10,000, you are having creditors of say 15,000. Now you sold a part of your land, you realized 12,000. So who should be paid first? Should it be paid to the lender or should it be paid towards the creditors? So how will we pay? So that is the actual scenario. So that is to be studied in piecemeal distribution. It's a very interesting questions. There are two methods in this: proportionate and maximum possible loss method. Okay, then earlier we used to have one more problem involving sale of firm to a company. When most of the assets of the firm and liabilities of the firm are taken over by a company in return for say shares, debentures, etc. So now this is not there in your syllabus from the practical point of view, but yes, in theory we need to know what is meant by sale of a firm to a company or what is purchase consideration. So this is just in theory, not relevant for practical purpose. So we'll start with these topics one by one. So today we'll be understanding the dissolution of the firm along with the dissolution of the partnership and its difference, right? Okay. Now, dissolution of a firm is a broader term. It implies dissolution of the partnership among all the partners. That is, you close all the relationships among yourselves. So, the relationship as well as the firm comes to an end. So, with the dissolution of the firm's existence comes to an end. So, when we say that firm is no longer there, it means the business closes, because firm implies the business that you are carrying out. So the business as well as your relationship has come to an end. So now firm cannot enter into any transaction, the business has come to an end. So what you can do right now is you can sell off your assets, you can pay your liabilities, and then whatever amount is left you can use it to discharge the claims of the partners. So this is dissolution of the firm. So nothing is left after this. Everything closes. All the accounts are closed after this. So these are the cases for dissolution of the firm. Like firm may be dissolved by agreement. So if you have made an agreement to dissolve the firm, like there are 4 partners, now all of them do not want to continue with the firm, so they agree that let us dissolve the firm. So section 40 says that you can dissolve it by mere agreement. You don't need to go to any court, etc. You can simply dissolve it because you are agreeing. Then another is compulsory dissolution. Section 41 lays down the conditions herein. Compulsory dissolution is when all the partners except one has become insolvent, or when the business of the firm has become illegal, or when due to certain events it has become unlawful for the firm to carry its business. Maybe you are carrying business with under a partnership with a person, say B, who is a resident of, say, another country, maybe China. Now your country is not having good relationships with China, you enter into a war zone. Now, when a country is in war with another country, then you cannot keep business with the war country. You cannot continue business. So, given the changed scenario, you cannot continue with your business with B, who is from China. So, you need to dissolve the business. So, when the business becomes unlawful, or when the business itself has become illegal, sometimes the business becomes illegal. I still remember that in university you have, Xerox shops. You take books from the library or from a friend and you get books xeroxed. Complete book is xeroxed. You don't need to buy a book of, say, 1,000 rupees. You get it xeroxed for 200 rupees. So publishing houses, they were against this. They filed a case. So for some time there was a stay on the xeroxing of the books, right? So at that time the business had become illegal. You cannot operate that business, so you need to close your partnership firm. So there is a compulsory dissolution under these circumstances. Then there are certain contingencies. Contingencies mean some certain events on the happening of which you need to dissolve the firm. Like when the firm is formed for a fixed term. When you started the firm, you decided that we'll work for 5 years. So as soon as the time period expires, your firm stands dissolved. Sometimes the firm is formed to carry out a specific venture. Then again, as the venture completes, the firm is to be dissolved. At the time of death of a partner or insolvency of a partner, you see, if in your partnership deed you have not specified what will happen at the time of death of a partner, you need to give this in your deed, that if a partner dies, then we'll continue the firm with the changed rules, etc. Then your firm will continue. Otherwise, your firm stands dissolved. Then sometimes it is dissolution by notice. Section 43 of the Act says that if it is a partnership at will, then you just give a notice and then you can dissolve the firm, right? Then dissolution by court. There are certain cases when you can file an application in the court of the law, and the court will pass an order for the dissolution of the firm. This is when a partner has become insane. Maybe A, B, C are 3 partners. C has become insane. So the 2 partners can file an application for dissolution of the firm, or when a partner becomes permanently incapable of performing his duties. If you cannot do your work in the firm, you may not be continued, so your partners may go to the court and they may ask for dissolution. Or when a partner becomes guilty of misconduct, again you can go to court. When a partner continuously commits a breach of partnership agreement, maybe you have a partnership firm to maybe manufacture and sell a product Z, okay, and there is a partner in your firm C who starts operating this business, similar kind of business, under his wife's name. Okay, now this is a breach of trust. If you are working in a partnership firm, you cannot continue same business. It's a breach of trust. So if there is a breach of agreement, there might be many more instances. I'm just giving you one of these. So the remaining partners can move court for the dissolution of the firm. Or when a partner transfers his interest in the partnership firm to a third party. You see, in a partnership firm, you cannot bring a new partner without approval of all other partners. So if ABC are three partners, A cannot transfer his share to anybody else, or for that matter B or C. Suppose A wants to bring his son D into the firm. So he transfers his share, that he is my son, I want to transfer. If B and C do not want to do, they are not in favor of this, they can move for the dissolution. Then in case a firm cannot be carrying on its business except at a loss, then also you can go to court and you can ask for the dissolution. And finally, when the court regards the dissolution to be just and equitable, so the complete thing lies in the hands of the court. If the court itself thinks that it is just and equitable to dissolve the business, then court can dissolve the firm. So these are some of the cases in which the business can be dissolved by court. So what is the difference between dissolution of partnership and of a firm? Now remember that firm is a bigger term. Okay, it's a wider term. It includes partnership as well as the business that you are carrying. So it includes your business as well as your relationship. Whereas partnership alone, it's a narrow term. It only implies relationship among the partners. So when we say the difference on the basis of nature, so dissolution of partnership firm, it implies dissolution of the old relationship and continuing the business with the new relationship. So you are dissolving old relation, you are starting a new relationship. That is the only thing happening. Whereas in case of dissolution of firm, there is a complete dissolution of all the relationships. So there is no more change in your functioning or in your relationship. It completely ends here. So what will be the status of the firm? Because herein it is just the partnership which is dissolving. So your firm will continue with the new relationship, new partnership. Whereas in case of dissolution of firm, because firm includes dissolving partnership as well as business, so herein the firm's existence and the business comes to an end. So when does we have the dissolution of partnership? It happens at the time of admission, retirement or death of a partner, or change in profit sharing ratio. Whereas dissolution of the firm, it happens when it's a case of compulsory dissolution, dissolution by notice, or dissolution by court, etc. So these are some of the cases when firm is dissolved. So how do we account for this? We have already studied that dissolution of partnership involves working for goodwill, accounting for profits and losses, then you go for revaluation of assets and liabilities, and then you prepare your new balance sheet and you continue your business. But here in dissolution of firm, the complete business comes to an end, so you are to close the books of the firm. So in the accounting, we close the books of the firm by selling all the assets, paying all the liabilities, and whatever balance is left, it is used to settle partners' claims. So I hope this difference between dissolution of a partnership and that of a firm is clear. So next time we will be working on the disposal of the accounts and the difference between private debts and firm's debts. So meanwhile, stay learning and practicing, stay smiling. Thank you.